like the poem that Sidney Lanier wrote to honor the Chattahoochee River, I too came out of the hills of Habersham and down the valleys of Hall, but never, ever, ever hurried amain to reach the plain, or run the rapids, or leap the falls. I'm just a much slower directed person. And looking back over my life during the pandemic, there was plenty of time to do that, of course. It seems that a couple of things popped out. One was that I've been a nomad all of my life, wandering around from place to place. I was determined after high school never to teach, and of course I ended up doing a lot of that. My hometown is Cornelia, Georgia, up in the right-hand tip of the state of Georgia, almost in North and South Carolina, and as the home of the Big Red Apple. There are two views there of it. The little town has a railroad track going through the middle of it. I guess there are 2 or 3 tracks. Okay, so this is the depot. That's where the statue is, and it's absolutely huge. It was made in Winchester, Virginia in 1925, 10 years before I was born. Yeah, foothills of the Appalachians, and my high school class will be having its 70th reunion coming up at the end of April. My mom worked a large number of jobs of different kinds, and my dad worked on the railroad for a long time. I think now he would find it amazing because he had a lot of physical labor to do on the railroad. He was a brakeman, and so he did a lot of hard physical labor. Well, now it seems that it takes fewer people to run a train, and they get to sit up in the engine and play with their computers. What he would say about that, I expect, would not be terribly pleasant, but because he was a plain-spoken fella. I grew up a spoiled only child, but had a lot of playmates my age, and growing up they made sure that I did that. And they both my parents worked really hard to make sure I had a good education. I'm sure they sacrificed even more than I realized. I guess in my life there are sort of 2 trends that have worked their way into my consciousness. One is being the nomad and going around from place to place. The other is connections. My first full-time teaching job was at a small college in Athens, Tennessee, Tennessee Wesleyan College. Now Tennessee Wesleyan University. Everybody is a university now. So I was there for 4 years. Had the opportunity then to come back to Georgia, and was at Tift College just up the road in Forsyth. I was at Tift for 7 years, and as it turned out, one of the connections there was the fellow who was the dean and the chemistry teacher at Tift, and I had been to a workshop years before in Appleton, Wisconsin, at the Institute of Paper Chemistry. Never knew we would contact each other again, so there was that connection. The connection to Tennessee Wesleyan was later when I was part of the University System of Georgia and had the opportunity to go to the Okefenokee Swamp for 5 years at Waycross Junior College. The fellow who was head of natural science and math there had been a freshman at Tennessee Wesleyan College, my first teaching job. So connections all over the place, absolutely weird. So I would encourage you, to think about connections. Sometimes they're a great benefit. Mm-hmm. I had absolutely no plans to live in a group setting. And Reverend Bagwell and his wife are the reasons I was here. One of his teenage members of his church, early on, went to LaGrange College, and I graduated from LaGrange College, and we met, and she babysat little Tim and little Bill. Nancy was not yet on the scene. So I got to know them, and then he had performed the wedding of a very close friend, that particular friend of mine. And when they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, the Bagwells rode with me. They were already residents here at Carlisle, and they rode with me to Athens to the big celebration of the 50th. And after we returned, see, I have practically no relatives left. Maybe some distant cousins somewhere, but we're not close. So Reverend Bagwell knew that I needed to be looked after in my old age. And so he insisted that I consider coming here. I didn't think I could afford it, as many people, feel early on. Teacher retirement and Medicare, I didn't think that would be enough. But he and his wife invited me for dinner and gave me a grand tour of the place. And then I checked around and had a financial advisor at that time, and they worked out something. So I've been here 10.5 years now. I came briefly, but I lost my mom in 1997 to dementia. She lived with me the last 4 years of her life, and so I became well acquainted with dementia of some kinds. Not sure what she had, but that's when I got connected with the Alzheimer's Association, so I'm a big supporter of that. So much later in life, I acquired 2 cats. They were a feral mother cat drops them in the yard of a friend here in Macon. Only long hair in the group, and he's part Siamese, so the vet says, and he's very intelligent, and he can say 3 English words: huh, hey, which he says most of the time, and yeah. I didn't teach him to do that. I'm now trying to teach him to say bird, but that's not working. So if he picks it up, okay. If not, okay. I have to thank you all for all you do for us as residents here at Carlisle Place. It's absolutely incredible, and we appreciate everything that you do for us, because I know that you have to sacrifice family time sometimes and all of that stuff, and I hope and I think most everybody appreciates that. But thank you.